Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Stitches and Stories. I am your hostess, W.A. Ashes, but you can call me Ashes. You can call me anything except late for dinner. No, that was bad. Don't use that line, guys. That was bad. People use it all the time, and it's so cliche. Anyway, welcome back. A, it has been crazy, and I gotta say, I am very thankful for all of you guys for putting up with me and my crap. Uh, my mental health has been not the best lately, and it has caused trouble. Plus, we had two family crises, and I've had some financial issues which affected my mental health, and it's just been psychotic. And so I haven't been on here, and I apologize. Hopefully, things are starting to even out. If you are in the Ashes Inkling, Ashes and Inks Facebook reader group. I will announce the winners for our Christmas give or Christmas blind date with a book this weekend. Planning on doing it after I record this video, and then I still have to get uh, what do we call it? Summerween sent out. I haven't had a job, but I haven't had a job outside of, writing and Mary Kay. And as much as I love Mary Kay and as much as I love writing, it doesn't bring in enough income to do anything. Like, I was legit just making enough money to buy cat food. That was it. All right. And so, it's been crazy. But I currently have a babysitting job now that pays a little bit every couple of weeks. And it's not a full-time gig. I still am going to be hopefully. I went to lower that and I hit the button. Hopefully, subbing this fall, but we should be getting caught back up on packages and stuff, so the blind dates with the books should be going out. And if you happen to be a Mary Kay person and you're on here, hello, welcome to my book YouTube channel. Not quite sure how you got here. We do some Mary Kay stuff on here, but your packages will also be going out. I know that they're like a month late, and I super apologize. And I have thrown in some goodies for you. I've thrown in like 3 foundation samples and a wand for your mascara and some brush sponges because I feel really bad about how late they are. Okay, guys. And so I am gonna get everything fixed, and we're gonna be good to go, and we'll be ready. But today I owe you guys a long book review because it's been a few weeks. So I thought about doing them separate, but we're just gonna do them together. And so you're gonna have to put up with me drinking some pop because my mouth has been really dry. And this isn't pop, but you know what I meant. Don't judge me for finishing an Alani and then immediately opening Monster. That's the kind of life I'm having at the moment, okay? We are gonna work on my niece's cowl, which is probably gonna need more yarn. If you've been following this, we've done it in a couple videos. I've had to restart it a couple times because we ran out of yarn, and then I went and got more yarn. And so you're looking at about 200 yards of yarn on this right now. And I think this is the stitch size I always use. So I didn't check the yardage when I bought these skeins though. And these skeins are the I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby. And I think there might have been less yarn than I thought in them because this should be about 200 yards and I need at least double this for the cowl. So I have a little ball left of another one, and then I want to finish this one, and then I will probably have to get more to finish this depending on how far this makes us. But we're gonna finish it off with that black fur that I picked up for this at the end, and we're going to put some black wolf ears that we're going to make on it, and I'll probably do like a little thing showing you how we're doing it. But that's the project we're going to work on today while we talk books, okay? And we are going to talk 3 or 4 books today, all right? I say 3 or 4 because there are 2 books I want to do together, and if they are books, if one of them is book 3, then we're going to go ahead and do book 4 with it because of the fact that I think they need to be discussed together. Oh, crap. You can't see it, but there's a hole up here by my bookcase, and my niece just like, hi, hey, it's Johnny me. She was like, it's Melody. Freaky as heck. Get your head on the other side of the room. She wants to be in the video so bad, but her mom won't let her. So I told her if she gets a mask, she can come into the video sometime. So Today's book review that we're starting with is The Boys of Summer by Volley. Yes, it's the end of summer. Yes, I still recommend this book. Please go pick it up. I really wish I had reviewed this book 2 to 3 weeks ago, guys, but you should pick it up. It was on sale for 99 cents, and I missed it. No, I missed telling you about it. I already had the book. I've had it for a long time. I just hadn't read it. I like Volley's works, but I have so many of her works that it takes a while to go through. It is 308 pages. It is fiction. For genre, it's like a contemporary romance with NASCAR vibes. I started it June of 2025, finished it June in 2025. It was published in August of 2024, and our main themes are grief, moving on, and love. So let's break this down, will we? Okay? So, there are two main characters in here. There's Locke and Key. Yes, their names are Locke and Key. First of all, that is adorable. I love it. So, it's cute, and it might have felt very cliche if it had been done a different way, but this isn't like your cliche meet cute. This is different. And so, Locke and Key is adorable. Locke is in the racing circuit. He feels responsible for his dad's death. He's left the circuit for a few years, and then he just comes back because he's trying to make amends with his family, and that's when he meets Key. Key is the daughter of a military pilot. Her dad owns a karaoke bar and is in some trouble with a semi-mob boss. Doesn't flat out tell us that he's part of the mob, but I mean, he does a lot of shady crap and kills some people. And his kid is an a-hole towards Key. So, both of them are adrenaline junkies. They have an instant connection, but it's not insta love, okay? They see each other and they're instantly attracted to each other, but they don't fall in love immediately. They work up to that. It is, with 308 pages, it felt fast, okay? Yeah. Can you shut the door? Nick is like growling or something.
It's not my fault you growling.
I know. Yeah, you can play Sonic. So the pacing was good because I didn't put this down. I read this cover to cover in one sitting. Okay, I listened to it cover to cover in one sitting. I had it in ebook and then I turned on my assistant. Can you turn down the TV just a little bit while I record?
Which button is it?
Bottom left.
Bottom.
Bottom left, I believe. It's in like an oval. And so if you feel down from the middle button, go left.
I don't know which way's left.
This way. This way's left. Go all the way down to 10 for right now. Yeah, 13's fine. That's really bugging me. Can you turn it on a 12 or 14? I'm sorry, it's not even.
What is wrong with you?
A lot is wrong with me. Why do you think I'm on meds?
Yeah, I get it.
I love you. Okay, so there's an age gap in here, and it was marketed as a older woman, younger man scenario, but the age gap is not that bad. It's a 10-year age gap. He's 22, she's 32, and honestly, I kept forgetting that she was older than him until he or someone else would point it out. They fake date, so there's a fake dating trope. It's fast paced, does have 18 plus content, guys. Does definitely have 18 plus content. He says he has a sex addiction. It kind of comes up a couple times, but it's mainly about having a fresh start and having survivor's guilt, kind of. Like, his dad dies and he thinks it was his fault, and he just kind of never got over it. And even though his family doesn't like outright blame him, he still thinks that they blame him. And through the book, you find out that what they blame him for is leaving after the father's death is what happened. They don't really blame him for his dad's death. The reason he blames himself is he was on his dad's pit crew, and he was the one who checked the tire that ultimately blew and killed his father. I can't give you any spoilers and tell you whether it was his fault or not. I can't tell you what occurred and why that happened. But what I can tell you is that the ending of this book will make you gasp. I legitly messaged Rue and I said, girl, you are evil and I love you. She gave me a freaking heart attack, okay? I read it, this chapter, and I was like, no, no freaking way. That didn't happen. And then in the next chapter, it started off and it like confirmed what I was worried about. And I was like, oh, heck no. And then the plot twist. Rue Volley, you know what you did. I love her. She is an amazing writer. You will never find another author who can do plot twists as well as she can. I'm not gonna lie. Her book, The Dead Boys Club, was the first I read by her, and it got me hooked on her plot twist. And you will not regret picking up literally any of her books because she will throw the most unexpected twist at you, and yet it's so integrated into the story that you're like, how did I not figure that out? It's great. There is child abuse in here relating to a teenager. There's abusive relationships. Mentions of postpartum depression, single dad, mob boss, casino owner, obviously 18 plus content. I wrote that down 3 times, so apparently I really wanted to tell you. There is a Dom sub kind of feel to it. Kind of. They don't go into like a huge Dom sub relationship kind of thing, but they do talk about it a little, and it is involved in the sex scene. I put she's an evil author and I love her. The end was, oh my god, so good. What did you think about this book? What will you take away from it? It started off slow, but it picked up very fast paced. I was in and out of the plot at first, but by the ending, it had me on the edge of my seat. I was literally holding my breath. What was the aim of the book and how well did the author fulfill it? I think the aim, ultimately, and Volley can obviously correct me if I'm wrong. She is welcome to do that. All authors, if I know them, if they're indie authors that I know, I try to send them the videos, and they're always welcome to comment anything they want and tell us more about their books. I think the aim was to show that grief is experienced differently by everyone, and that you can't just let it hold you back. It demands to be felt. You have to feel it. You have to accept it. You have to acknowledge it. You have to go through it. Would you recommend this book to others? Yes, 18 plus romance lovers and NASCAR lovers. If you grew up watching NASCAR or watching races of any kind, you'll love this book. Honestly, the vibes of this book are Grease meets Mamma Mia are the vibes. But not Mamma Mia in the who's the baby daddy trope. Mamma Mia in the summer vibes trope, okay? So, but once it ends review, she did it again. Rue Volley is a boss babe. Obviously, as you can probably tell based on my worship of this author, it did get 5 stars. But it's because I did it like we're supposed to, okay? I did the chart. And the chart doesn't lie. See, the chart doesn't lie. You can see it on there. Isn't that nice? Our camera sucks. I'm sorry. It's the only one I have to do this long video on. The phone won't contain the whole video. So it got 5 stars for characters, 4 stars for writing, 4 stars for enjoyment, 5 star for setting, 5 star for readability, 4 star for plot just because the beginning was a little off. Not the beginning. It was like right after the beginning. The part that connects the beginning to the middle. Okay? When I added it all up and divided it by 6, it was 4.5. Since it was 4.5, it rounds up to a solid 5-star review. Great job, Rue. I look forward to reading more. I actually have the next Minutes Till Midnight one queued up and ready to go. So I want to read that one hopefully before the end of October is my plan. The next one we're going to talk about, I think, yes, we will only make it through 3 today, thank goodness. Sorry, the one that's going to be a back-to-back, which will be after that, I think is going to take longer to do, but I do have someone who's looking forward to that review, so I will have to get it done within the next couple weeks, and then send it to her and have her comment her stuff. We've been talking about it a little bit, so. But our next one we're going to talk about today is Dial A for Aunties, or Aunties, whatever. It is by Jessie Q. Satano. As always, I will link all books that we review in the bottom, along with the next 2 books that we will be reviewing, so you guys can read them ahead of time if you'd like. The page count on Dial A for Aunties is 319. It is fiction. Read it in June, finished it in June, published in 21. Themes for this are supportive family, bad luck, and self-defense. And for genres, I put rom-com and comedy. I kind of went into this thinking that this was going to have a little bit more murder mystery than it did, but I mean, it's a good rom-com and comedy. It's just the murder element didn't need to be there. Okay, I'm going to be honest. So the main character accidentally kills someone because she's stupid. Okay, she is. I know it's self-defense, and I'm sorry. I don't mean to judge, but she's in a car with this guy, and this guy has flat out made it obvious that he wants to go further and do things that she has said no to. Okay? They are driving. She gets freaked out, and her response while they are driving is to tase him. He is driving, and she tased him. She should have waited till he stopped and tased him, because ultimately what she did was crash the car. Okay? She accidentally murders the guy because of that. Actually, it's because of something else, but it was involved in that, okay? But she accidentally murders the guy, and so she goes to her aunt's. All the main characters are Asian in descent, and she goes to her aunt. She grew up with a single mom, and her auntie's taking care of her, and she goes to them, and she's like, oh my gosh, I killed this guy. What am I supposed to do? And so then they help her. The problem is, they're also wedding planners, and they can't figure out what to do with the body. So they take the body by accident to the wedding. The body goes everywhere, guys. It's just. Have you ever seen the movie Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist with the gum that just goes everywhere? It's like that. It's like it's an unnecessary part of the story. It's just flowing through everything for no reason. The murder could have been left out and everything would have been fine. I'm gonna be honest, okay? The story still would have had good vibes. You could have come up with a different reason for her to be nervous instead of literally moving a dead body around through the whole entire book. It has second chance romance trope. It's a series of unfortunate events, basically. It has a hidden LGBTQ character. Can't tell you who it is because it is part of the main plot, and the fact that they are LGBTQ is important to the story, and so it would be a massive spoiler, but there is a hidden LGBTQ character. I don't know why I wrote that sentence. I put parents compare her to theft. I'm not sure. There is a theft plot. Okay, there is a slight theft plot afterwards. And see, this is what I mean that the body could have just been removed from this whole situation because the missing wedding gifts could have been the actual plot and what carried this all the way through, but it's not. This is not a murder mystery. Don't go into this thinking it is. It's not. Okay, you know who murdered them. They flat out tell you the dead guy is, like I said, everywhere. At one point, he's dressed up as a groomsman leaning on the altar. Yeah. And the groomsmen are so drunk they don't realize he's dead. They're just carrying him around. It's interesting for sure. I put the dead body was a conduit because of that. I think that the dead body literally only existed to help move the character, the reader, from one scene to the next. All right, I don't think there was any real other reason except to carry you from one thing to the next, like like an anchor of sorts. It is HEA, so it has a happily ever after Asian characters, but I had the audiobook, and the audiobook sounded more Indian than Asian. The um the accent they gave him, and it could be, I could be wrong. It could be that the specific dialect because they're Mandarin, but to me the narrator sounded more Indian, more Bollywood than Asian. I asked myself several times, what are they thinking? Why are these characters being so stupid? All the aunts acted pretty similar. It was hard to tell the aunts apart. I could tell her mom apart, and I could tell her apart, and obviously the main guy character apart, and the wedding guest. But she has three aunts, and she calls them first aunt, second aunt, and third aunt, which I don't know Asian culture, so maybe that's an Asian thing. I don't understand why. And in the household I grew up, my aunts are like Aunt Kelly, Aunt Jonna. It was aunt and then the first name. Um, and if I'm just talking to them one on one, it would be aunt or auntie. I never just call them by their first name. But I can't imagine going up to my Aunt Jonna and being like, hey, first aunt, what are you thinking about this? Hey, second aunt to Aunt Kelly, that kind of thing. To me, it just seems odd, but it could be an Asian culture thing. I'm not sure. So, I mean, let me know if you're part of the Asian culture. Tell me if that's part of it. I did not put that into consideration when I was doing the review because that seems like it could be a cultural aspect. But the fact that all three of the ants had the same personality, they weren't supposed to. They flat out tell you that all three of them are supposed to have a different personality. Like the first ant is supposed to be the big sister, the one who wants to take charge all the time. The middle ant feels overlooked. The third ant is the baby sister. She's the one closest to age to her niece. She's the cool, hip one that gets all the slang. But when they are talking all together, it is hard to keep track of who's talking because they all talk the same. All right. Um, our main character would go to one and be like, "Oh, I need third aunt because third aunt understands what's going on. Third aunt knows what this slang means. Oh, or I need first aunt. I need someone who can take charge." But when they're actually carrying on conversations, you can't tell them apart. So when I did the addition and not subtraction, division for this, it landed ultimately at a 4.3. So we rounded down to 4 stars because if it's below a 4.5, we round down. That's how rounding works. Characters I gave 4. They were okay, but like I said, I couldn't tell the ants apart very well. Writing I gave 5. Enjoyment I gave 4 because I think it had good bones. I mean, and it wasn't the worst story I've ever read. It was a good, lighthearted summer read. Setting I gave 5. The setting seemed very beautifully done. I really wanted to be at that hotel. Readability was 5. You could keep track of everything. But plot, I only gave 3 because, like I said, dead guy wasn't needed. And it almost, it kind of felt like even the writer didn't know what to do with the dead guy. Like, she killed off the character and then it's like, how do I hide a body? Well, first of all, you don't stick it in a freezer and take it to a hotel. You also don't dress it up in a tuxedo and get the groomsmen drunk and let them carry it down the aisle. You also don't prop it up in bed and cover it with a blanket and pretend it's your boyfriend. Might I recommend just throwing it in the ocean? That's just an idea. They're on an island, okay? Sorry, guys. But yeah, so 4.3 is the ultimate rating, and it got 4 stars because of that. So we're going to mark this one as done. And then we're moving on to one I forgot I read. That doesn't bode well. When I forget I read a book, it doesn't bode well. And looking at this rating that is sitting on my page, yeah, that makes sense that I forgot I read this book. Okay. So this is The Broposal by Sonora Reyes. I read it for the Read the Rainbow Challenge on Goodreads. It was during the month of June, and it was basically Pride books. There was tons on this list that I wanted to read, but Broposal was the only one that was within my budget to currently buy. And so that's why I picked this one, is because it was in my budget. And it had good bones. I won't lie. It's coming back to me, and it did have good bones, but how do I put this? If you grew up reading fan fiction, you know that fan fiction has a certain vibe, right? And this book felt like that. It felt like a fan fiction, like someone had originally wrote this about something else and then just changed the characters' names, kind of thing, because it didn't feel as serious. It had serious themes that could have been massively expanded on, but it just felt too underdeveloped. It felt too underdeveloped. And I feel bad saying that because I hate saying that because I know how much work authors put into their stories, but it felt like a young writer wrote this. It didn't feel like someone who has been writing for a while or anything wrote this. And honestly, I don't know how long this author has been writing, so let's find out real quick. Because maybe it is their debut novel. It could be. Sonora, SonoraReYes. She's an American author of young adult fiction. Didn't know this was listed as young adult, so it does kind of explain the fan fiction vibes. How long have you been writing, my dear? Books. She has written 4 books, starting to publish in 2022. She's been writing for 3 years, so she's still a relatively young published author. How long she'd been writing before that, we don't know. I didn't know she wrote that one, and that was on one of my to-read lists. It's a newer one. But it did feel like, it felt young. It felt like, and now that I know it was YA, maybe that's why. But the characters are adults, and most YA books don't focus on adult characters, and so I didn't think that this was a YA book. It's a clean book, but I didn't think it was meant for teenagers, and so I'm gonna take that into account and be honest that it felt underdeveloped. Okay. Themes are fake dating, illegal citizenship, and toxic relationships. There is an autistic character and an undocumented character. There is a ESA dog, so I did like that. ESAs are important and they get overlooked a lot. People are like, well, it's not a service animal. It doesn't have to wear a vest and it doesn't predict your seizures or anything. No, but an ESA predicts your mood shifts. I have an ESA. He's been a little bunch of a brat lately. And he gets confused when I watch thriller movies because he thinks that I'm like having an anxiety attack and he jumps on me and tries to comfort me, but I'm not having an anxiety attack. I just had a jump scare because a shark came out of nowhere and ate someone's head. Okay? But it confuses the heck out of Spook. And so it was nice to see an ESA shown instead of just a full-blown service dog because they are a different kind of service dog. An ESA is an emotional support animal and they help with mental health and emotional stability. Like I was given a cat because I needed something to take care of. I lived by myself and having something to take care of grounds me. It makes me get up. It makes me get out of my depression states and get out of bed because there's an animal I have to keep alive. Okay? Having someone to depend on you, it helps. And so it was good to see an ESA represented. ICE raids are brought up in here, which, as a white young woman, I had no idea that ICE existed until this past couple years. I mean, I knew that there was immigration. Like, I knew that there were people out there trying to stop immigration and get rid of illegal citizens, but I didn't realize we actually had like a little posse of people doing this. In case you're wondering, I'm anti-ICE. Just putting that out there. The ICE raids were mentioned. The main character's scared of them. There's a toxic girlfriend. One character's bi. One character thinks he's straight. Turns out he's not straight. He gets very confused because he falls in love with his best friend, who is also his roommate. Yeah, we have that trope. We have the they were roommates trope. I love that trope. So we do that. They start fake dating because one of them needs to get citizenship, and they figure if they can fake date and fake marry, then they can get him citizenship, and then they don't have to worry about him getting deported because he can't go to college or anything because he doesn't have a legal identity. That is something that I didn't write this down, but that is something that I do know turned me off from this book. My family does a lot of foster care. They did a lot of foster care growing up. My grandparents did. Everyone basically in my family does. And so foster care and CPS systems, I'm pretty intimate with, all right? I'm confused in here because what happened is our main character gets brought to America when he's a child, okay? His parents go back to Mexico. He is left here alone under his aunt, who is a legal citizen under her guidance. I do not understand why the aunt and uncle did not get this child citizenship. It is not explained. It would have been, as a child, they should have been able to go through those steps and get this child citizenship, especially since they were raising it. They should have been able to get compensation for raising the child from the state while they put him through through the citizenship process. Um, I really hope that gap doesn't actually exist in real life, but I mean, it could. I mean, it seems weird because CPS and social services are all about protecting kids. And so if they found a kid, whether it's undocumented or not, it's their job to keep them safe and secure. Now, if they're being placed with a legal guardian who is a citizen of America, okay, the child should then be able to legally get his citizenship, right? Because his parents are here. But instead, he spends his entire childhood and teenage years and adult life terrified that he's going to be deported. And so I don't know why there was no effort made by his aunt and uncle to get him his citizenship when he was younger. And I brought this up with my mom, who's done foster care, and asked her about it. And she said the same thing. She thought that there should be a process, if there isn't, where that happens, because that just seems weird, right? It just seems off. It just seems really weird. And so I don't understand why that was done. I feel like as an aunt and uncle you would do that, right? You would reach out and you would find out how to get this kid's citizenship instead of just not because he's not with his parents because his mom is a drug addict. His parents lost custody of him and he was moved to America because his legal guardian, his aunt, lived in America. Okay? And so if parents can't have custody and the legal guardians in America, why wasn't citizenship issued to this child? It's just if this hole exists in real life, we need to fix it. Okay? That's what I'm going to say because that shouldn't happen. Children should not have to worry about growing up and being deported. Okay? He should have the same rights as everyone else. He should be able to go to college like everyone else. Instead, he has to take low income jobs and be careful when police show up because he doesn't know if he's going to be kicked out or not. And then he has to fake date his best friend. Okay? A straight guy falls for the bi guy. There is a slight baby situation involved. Okay? And one of the bi guy's girlfriend ends up pregnant at one point, the toxic girlfriend. And so then they have to figure out what they're going to do with that because she's trying to get him back and she doesn't like his roommate slash best friend. And he doesn't want to leave his roommate hanging, so he refuses to call off the fake dating, even though the baby is involved. And I'm going to tell you this because these are triggers, slight spoilers, okay? But it is trigger abortion, abuse, 18 plus content. Those are your triggers, okay? Think of that as you will. Everyone in here goes through tough times. Every single person. They talk about deportation, fatherhood, sexual identity crisis. But these tough situations are handled in a very light-hearted way, which makes them feel not as pressing. And like I said, it feels underdeveloped because you're not as worried about the characters. You just know it's going to work out because it feels that way. Straightforward writing style, no nonsense, nothing flowery, nothing very imagery. Kind of unneeded subplot. Okay, there is this whole thing where someone is stealing from a restaurant. Not needed. Okay, you can cut it out and it doesn't matter to the story at all. This is everything I love about fan fiction, but not necessarily everything I love about romance. It would have made a great fan fiction, as I was saying. As a standalone novel, I think it is lacking and needs a little bit more work. There's a 5-year jump from the ending with an HEA. I don't like time jumps, so that didn't sit well with me. It also has a unperfect ending. Like, it leaves something to desire. It's not all completely neatly tied up. As I said again, ice raids. I wrote that twice. And I did cry at part of it, so bonus points of that. If a book can make me cry, bonus points, okay? When we reviewed it, though, things got a little scary because, as I said, I forgot I read this book, and that should tell you that it's getting a low rating. What did I think about this book? It was okay, but it was just kind of average. What was the aim of the book? I think the book was meant to entertain while showing the fear of being illegal in the USA, but it doesn't quite get the pressing fear of it all. Would you recommend this book to others? I put 18 plus readers who like no nonsense writing. It's relatively clean though. There's nothing really in depth about it. There is a sex scene, but it's not over the top. It's not like erotica. One sentence review. I have no idea. I don't know what to say. Um, as for our rating, we are sitting at 5 star for characters, 4 star for writing, 4 star for enjoyment, 3 star for setting, 4 star for readability, and 3 star for plot. So when we add those up and divide by 6, we get 3.8. I think 3.8 is too generous to be honest, but since it's past the 0.5 mark, it rounds up to 4, so it got 4 stars. But if I wasn't using our system, I would have given it a flat out 3. Just saying. So, that's where we're sitting with that. I will link it down below. And then the next time we come back, which will hopefully be in this next week unless anything else goes wrong, we'll be discussing the first 2 books in the Crazy Rich Asian series. Go. You can't be on camera. Go. You are supposed to be upstairs taking a nap, sir. Why are you down here? Go. Go upstairs. Yes. Go upstairs. Go, sir. Thank you. Go. I'm trying to finish this video. I'm glad baby's sleeping, but you need to go. Sorry. 4-year-old nephew. Anyway, so the next 2 books we'll review together, and they will be the first 2 books in the Crazy Rich Asian series. So if you want to read them, go read them. And I'm going to tag a friend in this when I do it. I'm going to send her the video because she and I had been talking about these 2 books, and she has a much different opinion of them than me, and I think it would be cool to see her side of things, and so I'm going to see if she will comment on the video. I don't think I can arrange a time for us to do like a joint recording session where we talk about it, but maybe. I don't know. My anxiety, yeah, it doesn't make me happy at the idea of trying to record a joint video. Like, what if I screw up? I screw up on here all the time, but talking to a real person is different than talking to you guys who are imaginary at the moment and then real later. So, it probably won't happen. I'll probably just have her comment. Because my insides are like, abort mission, just thinking about that. So anyway, those will be the next 2 books. I will link them down below. In the way of our shop for our stitches and stories, I'm going to try something new. Okay. I put up a couple of our infinity scarves on eBay, so I will link down my eBay link below, and I will also link the stitches and stories group, and I'm trying to see the best way to sell these things to you guys in case you want them. Because I know Shopify is good, but I don't want to pay $35 a month for one if people aren't interested in the products. You know what I mean? I have to bring in the income to cover that cost. And at the moment where I am at financially, that's just not feasible. It won't cover itself. And Etsy also won't cover itself. So eBay does. So we're going to try eBay, and we're going to try continue doing the group online where I post the videos and the projects. And so I'll link those down below too. And something that I was going to tell you and hadn't yet, I had a poll in my reader group, which if you're not part of, you should totally be part of. And I've decided that any physical copy of a book that I win from Goodreads, after I review it and put it on here, I will be giving that book away to one of you guys. The physical ones, not the ebooks, okay? Because I have to track them down, and sometimes ARCs, if I get them and then they don't come out months later, you don't get it. But these include ARCs, okay? You have to be aware of that. You could get an ARC. An ARC is an unfinished, unedited copy of a book, okay, that authors give out for reviews. I did finish reading The Service Berry, which is this one sitting up here by Ken. And that's Ken, that one, okay? And so that book will go to someone too, and those giveaways will be held on Instagram, and I will tell you where they are so you can join my Instagram page and enter there. I think it's going to be ultimately easier to do the giveaways on Instagram instead of on YouTube. And um, again, when we hit 50 subscribers, I'm going to give away a Allie Hazelwood book set. Not all of her books, but like a set of like 2 to 4 books. Okay, guys? So join us. And as always, if you give me book review requests, I will add them to my TBR. I have a wish list that I keep updated, and every month I buy myself a couple books off of it. I also drop it on the Book Fairy post that I'm a part of, and if they get gifted to me, they move up my TBR list, all right? And so that is available too. So let me know what you want me to review. I have a couple requests that are coming up that we'll do. The Crazy Rich Asian series is one of them. I will probably read the third one. I wasn't going to, but after talking to my friend, I feel like I need to. And she is a casual reader. She doesn't read very often, but when she reads, she gets into the books, and she has recommended to me some of the best books I've ever read. We joint read a book in college called Blue Like Jazz, and it was a challenge that was going on our campus where one person read the book and then passed it to another person, and then that person passed it on, and everyone wrote their names in the cover. And so we did that, and we both actually ended up buying our own copies of the book too. But so I highly appreciate her reviews, and I love the fact that she has a different opinion of these 2 books than I do, and so it's going to be great to talk about that with you guys with her. And so I will make sure she gets to see that video. So anyway, I will link the books that we talked about today and those 2 Crazy Rich Asian books down below so that you guys can do it, along with our shop links. And thank you guys for being here so much. I am sorry that I'm not here all the time. I do try to do these most Sundays. Today this is going up on a Saturday. It's been a crazy month. Like July disappeared right out from under me, and now August is on the way, and I can't believe it's the 9th of August. I still have so much freaking stuff to do from June. It's it's insane. And I still would like to get one more book published of my own this year. But I'm not going to push myself too hard on that because I need to be in love with my writing. So, thank you guys for being here, and I will see you all next time. Bye, souls. Did it stop? I don't think it did. Try this again. Bye, souls.